William Easterly, The White Man's Burden, Why the West's Efforts to Aid the Rest Have Done So Much Ill and So Little Good. In The White Man's Burden, William Easterly explores the inefficacy and failures of the traditional approach to addressing poverty and underdevelopment in developing nations. Easterly contrasts two schools of thought: the top-down planners, who believe that only big, bold plans drafted by Westerners can make progress against poverty, and the searchers, who argue for organic, bottom-up solutions that arise out of local knowledge and circumstances. This summary delves into the historical attempts to eradicate poverty, the reasons behind the failure of traditional strategies, and advocates a change in approach towards experimentation and feedback-driven aid initiatives.
Rethinking Global Poverty. The debate on poverty eradication in developing nations boils down to planners and searchers. Planners advocate for bold, top-down initiatives by Westerners backed with foreign aid. On the other hand, searchers believe that organic, bottom-up approaches rooted in local knowledge and initiated by developing nations are more effective. While planners call for the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, searchers highlight the failures of past attempts to eradicate poverty. Successful small-scale indigenous projects, such as delivering pesticide-treated bed nets to the poor to combat malaria, are models of development assistance done right, according to searchers. The debate is between those who believe a Marshall Plan-like effort is the solution to poverty in developing nations versus those who advocate for using local knowledge to implement sustainable and effective solutions. The failure of development strategies. Planners have tried 3 strategies to bring prosperity to the developing world: the Big Push, market mechanisms, and political reforms, but none of them have worked. The growth rates of the poorest and less poor countries are not significantly different, and democracy and the quality of government offer better explanations for growth versus non-growth. The Big Push of aid has been tried repeatedly, but has produced few results. The failure of top-down market reforms is evident in Russia's early 1990s shock therapy conversion from communism to free markets. Poor countries lack the necessary conditions for a thriving market, and without infrastructure bulwarks, the result isn't a free market economy but a flea market economy. Poverty and underdevelopment might be just political problems, and development might succeed if victimized nations could replace their gangster governments. However, democracy cannot be imposed on a country, and donor countries often provide aid to anti-democratic governments in strategically important countries, which makes some evidence indicate that aid makes countries less, not more, democratic. Reimagining Foreign Aid. Foreign aid has failed to deliver meaningful results due to bureaucratic hurdles, poorly designed loan programs, and neglected healthcare initiatives. The aid bureaucracy is plagued by apathetic feedback loops and misaligned incentives, leading to a diffuse focus on achieving utopian goals at the expense of essential needs. The IMF's conditional loan strategy lacks flexibility and fails to consider local conditions, leading to unstable economies and debt defaults. Meanwhile, the Western healthcare community continues to push costly treatments for HIV/AIDS, neglecting more cost-effective prevention measures in other diseases like TB. A non-utopian approach to foreign aid that addresses the most pressing local needs is necessary for meaningful progress. Beyond interventionism. Key arguments against postmodern imperialism and the efficacy of self-reliance in achieving economic growth and reducing poverty are highlighted. Imperialism has resurfaced under new names and justifications, including shared sovereignty, de facto trusteeships, and postmodern imperialism. The concept encourages Western powers to exercise control over the basic economic functions and domestic authority of countries like Sierra Leone, Bosnia, Afghanistan, and Iraq. However, history has proved that imperialism only promotes despotism, especially in African countries. Post-war interventions like CIA-backed coups, foreign aids that sustained corrupt Liberian dictators, and the support given to the Nicaraguan Contras, Haile Selassie in Ethiopia, Joseph Mobutu in Zaire, and Jonas Savimbi in Angola are clear examples of failed attempts to impose top-down planning strategies. These actions have resulted in unhappy endings, just like colonialism's older versions. The author argues that only self-reliant efforts from developing countries themselves can effectively reduce poverty. Rich country funders should abandon their utopian ideas of transforming the rest, and instead, aid agencies should focus on narrow, solvable problems. Developing countries can grow and develop on their own, without significant Western aid. Japan and Turkey are examples of countries that have experienced phenomenal growth in per capita income without Western aid or colonization. Botswana is another success story that has achieved remarkable growth by taking a shrewd approach to its mineral riches. Its economy was the fastest growing in the world over the past 40 years, and the country has even increased its manufacturing sector. Other countries like Chile, India, China, Korea, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand are also proofs that self-reliance and sustainable economic growth are possible without Western interventionism. In conclusion, postmodern imperialism, and its various forms, are not solutions to global inequalities and poverty reduction. Self-reliant and sustainable efforts from developing countries themselves are the key to achieving these goals. Seeking effective aid solutions. Aid programs can be effective, but there is no guarantee of success in advance. Experimentation and feedback are the only ways to determine a program's efficacy. Aid agencies should seek personalized solutions for host countries based on local experience, then rigorously evaluate and reward successes and punish failures. This common-sense approach can improve aid efficacy, which is sorely needed to combat world poverty.
William Easterly's The White Man's Burden presents a critical examination of the history, failures, and ineffectiveness of the traditional top-down approach to addressing poverty and underdevelopment in developing countries. The book emphasizes the importance of adopting an experimental, searcher-driven strategy that values local knowledge and solutions, evaluates progress through measurable goals and feedback, and rewards successful initiatives. By encouraging the shift towards a searcher-oriented approach, the book aims to create hope towards finding practical and large-scale solutions to global poverty by actually listening to and respecting the needs, culture, and agency of the people in these countries.